crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. Welcome to part 8 of Butterfly Brilliance Bootcamp. In this summer series, we've created all kinds of butterfly projects, cards, 3D projects, boxes, and in part 7, we created embroidery hoops. Here are 3 I have left. I've already given some away. Okay, now these are just ones we decorated in the last video. So if you missed that, part 7, go ahead and check that out. You can decorate your embroidery hoop either way. This is like what we call an inset, and then this one, and this is another one like that, and then this one, it would be an outset. I don't really know if you call it inset, outset, but this just is the way you attach the paper. So if you missed that, go ahead and check out part 7. Now this was part 7 of my Butterfly Brilliance Bootcamp. I used gold foiling on this one, gold cardstock, and then I used the rose and gold metallic specialty paper for those. Okay, and now I also want to show you, that was several videos ago, because I've actually just interspersed this series throughout my other things I was doing this summer. So this series started in June, and I'm going to try to end it in July, but it might end in August, and I still have probably 1 or 2 videos to go. So this is part 8. I know I definitely have a part 9. There's still so many 3D projects I want to show you. And I know I'm going to definitely be doing a drawing for those that purchase the kits inside of my VIP Facebook group. So there's still more to do, and that drawing is going to include many of the butterfly projects. Now, if you missed my very last video on YouTube, by the way, these are the cards we're going to be making, but we'll get back to that in a minute. If you missed my very last video, everything's better with butterflies. I took this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. If you're in the US or Canada, you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. And it's called The Adventure Begins. And I just added butterflies to a lot of the projects. And I went through 26 or 23, I can't remember how many, projects in the Paper Pumpkin video that I just did. And you'll see how butterflies really jazzed up a lot of the projects. Okay, so that's just a couple things that are going on in my YouTube channel. So let's get started with this. Now, what I want to do now is we're going to review some techniques, and always we add new techniques. So not only do I want to show you this type of card and how to make it, but I also want to show you something that my friend Sandra, she inspired this card, but she also inspired another card, and I also want to show you how that was created. And so this is a little sneak peek, so you got to stay around to the end of the video, and I will kind of walk you through how this type of card is created and how this type of card is created, and kind of the inspiration behind this type of card. And you're going to be using the materials from your kit, pretty much all the materials from your kit, because you have a lot of this cardstock I'm showing you. Now this piece of paper, maybe not the same designer series paper. Now this paper here, you're going to take out your Butterfly Bijou designer series paper. Any other papers are going to work for this. And because this is boot camp, I'd like to show you start to finish how to create cards and how to stamp with them. So first we need card bases. So check out these card bases. These are, I didn't even put I don't think I put the paper inside yet. No, they're going to have Whisper White inside. This is called Magenta Madness. And this one's Mango Melody. No, Mango Melody? Okay, you think so? This is Poppy Parade. I know you have Poppy Parade in your kit, and I know you have Misty Moonlight in your kit. And Bermuda Bay. Okay, this is Bermuda Bay. So what I want to do is they all open like this. Okay, they all open vertically. So what I want to do right now is show you how to make a card that opens vertically. I want to show you how to make the card base itself that will decorate straight, and I want to show you how to make the card matting and layering so you can have all your layers made. So, and then I'm going to show you, just to know the whole video series, we're going to do Stamparatus. We're going to create the backgrounds. Then we're going to create the rip paper technique, use some Wink of Stella to get some bling bling going on in there. See the little shimmer and shine? We'll get some shimmer and shine going on. And then we will go from there, embellish our cards with some extra bling. Got to have lots of bling. Maybe talk about what's next in this series. I mean, who knows? Who knows how this will go? It's live. So you want to take out, like I said, your Butterfly Bijou papers that are in your kit. If you don't have a kit, you could still maybe get one, but I'm wrapping things up. So there's just a little bit left. I kind of am working on scraps here. Literally working on scraps here. All right, so now go into it's like your cardstock, the packet. You have a packet of cardstock, and get out. I'm going to take out a piece of Poppy Parade. I'm just taking this out of my Brights collection from Stampin' Up, but of course you can take it out of your packet or wherever. I'm going to take out a piece of, also out of the Brights collection. I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple card bases while I'm here. Take out a piece of Bermuda Bay. Okay, I can't remember if this is Magenta Madness or not. I have to compare it. Both of these will work, by the way, Magenta Madness and Mango Melody. I think this one's Mango. Yeah, this is Magenta Madness for sure. This is one of the ink colors from last year. So to get that color, I would have to get that out of another packet. So what we need, I'm just going to get a piece of here. We're going to get a piece of Misty Moonlight. Okay, so let's make a couple card bases. And I'll go ahead, I'm going to try to find that other color. It's just slightly different, but I need to find what's called an in color from last year. It's not the Brights collection. It's a very subtle difference, but when you work with colors, there's a subtle difference, but you still want to use coordinating colors. Let's look if it's in here. 2020 to 2022 in colors. Here we go. This is what I need. This is going to make a big difference than this, because this is not the right color to coordinate with that paper pack. This one is. So one of the in colors is Magenta Madness. Kind of discovered that by accident. I was like, oops, I used the wrong kind of pink. All right, so I want to make some card bases. So what you want to do, we're gonna score these. I just need to make a little room. So you're gonna use your Simply Scored, or your paper trimmer will score as well. Either way. So you're gonna take a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and you're going to turn it. All right, you're going to turn it horizontally, and I'll do this a couple times. Don't worry. We're going to score it 5.5. Okay, we're going to score it 5.5. I'm going to do that again with the Bermuda Bay. We just need some card bases. Scoring at 5.5. It's 11 inches across. I'm going to do that again with Poppy Parade. 5.5. Oops. I'm using the small side of the tool that comes, not the big side, that's for flowers. Okay, now for the Misty Moonlight, we're not scoring that. We're going to cut that into card fronts. We're going to make some card fronts. Now we're going to take the paper trimmer, and you could have just scored with your paper trimmer. You don't actually need to use the paper. You don't need the Simply Scored to score. You have a score tool on your paper trimmer. I just don't like to use mine. I took it off. Not that I don't like to use it, I just take it off. I have other things I'm using I'm always cutting so much that I don't see. I just took the score blade off. It's gray, and leave the cutting blade on there. So right now, I'm going 4 1/4, just so you know. So I scored it 5.5. Now I turned it horizontally. I'm going to show you what that looks like, or vertically. And this is what I'm left with. See what I'm left with? This is how all your cards are going to be. They're all going to be vertical cards. So we scored at 5.5, and now we are cutting at 4 1/4. So I'm going to show you that close up. I like to do a lot of these at once. After this video, I'll probably go ahead and make them all. So what I'm going to do now is show you this close up. So you see, I'm going to go ahead and turn my scoreboard, or my cutting board, around, so you can see the numbers. You can see the numbers on both sides, right? But I think it's just easier to see from this side. So I'm going to put the paper in, right? It's scored horizontally at 5.5. I'm going to just put the paper in, and I'm going to go 4 1/4. See that? 4 1/4 inch. That is half the paper, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Okay, so first step is make all your card bases. Make as many as you want. Say you're doing a swap, just make a lot of card bases at once. Okay. Well, I'm keeping the trimmer out because now we're gonna fold our card bases in a moment. Now we're gonna go ahead and make all the mats. So we need like some matting. We're gonna do 4. This one's a little messed up, so we'll just do it on this side. We need a couple of these. Oop, they're all kind of like that. My paper's bent a little bit on the corner, so I need these to be 4 inches. Okay. 4 inches. Yeah, this paper's a little bit messed up on the one side. That's okay though. 4 inches long. These are going to be layers for my card. And we're also going to have a little background behind those, for some of those. So those are 4 inches long. Let's make them 5 1/4. 5 1/4. That's okay. See, when I cut off the edges, I'm going to get rid of that messed up part on the edge. What I did is I was trying to do this video for a week now. It's been raining to beat the band. I've had so much rain and so many power outages, and it's just been crazy. So like, that paper got bent just moving it from place to place on the shelf. Okay, so I'm just going ahead and make 4 of those 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Now I'm going to make so you're going to take some designer series paper, and we're going to make a layer to go behind them. And just so you know what that looks like, I'm going to show you. See that tiny little 1/8 of an inch layer around the outside? That's what we're doing now. You're going to take a piece of your designer series paper, and you want to look. Now don't waste this paper. Well, this is going to be good for the rip paper technique. This one might be okay on the back. Yes, Pamela, I am. Okay, and here, see, nope. I'm trying to find one that's sort of cloudy. I think it's the other piece. This one would be good, but I like the front of it. So this would be really good for a big layer behind the Misty Moonlight. See, this one will be nice if you have enough of it. I only gave you one in your kit, but that's going to be a nice one. So we'll get another piece of that, and we'll make one of those the background. And then the piece that I told you guys to die cut your butterflies, this makes a great background. So I have an extra one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and make this one of the backgrounds. See, so you want something like this because it's just really nice. Not that you can't use the other kind. And if you don't have this Butterfly Bijou Designer Series paper because you didn't get a kit and it's retired now, don't worry about it. Just use any paper you have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make these 4. So I remember that this was 4 inches, right? So now I need these to be 4 1/8. So this was 4. So I need this to be 4 1/8 because it needs to be an 1/8. I'm just going to cut both. It needs to be an 1/8 of an inch bigger. I'll go ahead and I will put this in the description of the video. It just takes me a while. And really, I'm trying to teach you concepts that you can use over and over. And the concept is you're just making each layer bigger than the next layer. That's all. So this one was 5 1/4, right? This was 5 1/4. This one was, this was. So now we need to be 1/8 bigger. So we're going to go 5, and instead of 5 1/4, which is really 2/8, we're going to go 3/8. So 5 3/8. Okay, let's check that it worked. Let's check that everything worked here. We're going to go like this, and it worked. We have an 1/8 of an inch border around everything, so that worked. Let's make sure that worked. Very nice. Okay, now and then for the one, sometimes we can just stamp right onto the card too. But this one I kind of liked from my experimentation, this kind of one with the border around it. So now next you want to do, I think we have everything we need to cut. Oh no, we do need to cut again when we get to the rip paper part. So for example, there's a couple ways to cut this. I think it's easy to just cut it on the cutting board, but you can also trim it another way. So I could just say, these are going to be 4 inches. So make sure your pattern's vertical, right? So this is a vertical pattern, right? But then make sure it matches your cardstock so that it's really 4 inches, and that works. Now the other way is just to cut it afterwards. So another way I was doing it earlier is I was just sort of doing my rip paper technique, and I was just sort of ripping it and gluing it on, and then I turned the paper over and cut off what I didn't need. But I think it's easier just to measure these 4 inches to begin with. Don't cut these yet at the bottom because we don't know where we're going to rip, how we're going to rip. It all just depends. But let's get this kind of paper is good for rip paper technique because you want to get all these little patterns and layering and stuff, so it's really nice. So earlier this year I went to a workshop with my friend Sandra at her shop, and she did this one, and she actually put ribbons on hers in one layer, and I ended up I kind of got inspired by her card. I did 2 layers, no ribbon. She had a sentiment up here, I put a sentiment down there, but kind of the same concept. So you can get inspired from other cards and use what you learn, and that's what I want you to do. Just take this and make it your own, or use it exactly as I show you. I don't care. Use it the way I show you. I'm just making sure it's really 4 inches across so it doesn't stick out. Okay, now we got these are good for ripping, and so was that other paper. This one was okay for ripping. We might not need it though. If we need it, we'll get back to it. So now we have everything we need. And I keep this here for a minute while we flatten out our cards. So we're going to flatten out our cards. Here we're going back to this card, right? We're going to flip it around. See how when we scored it down, it's a valley down. Now we're going to turn it over and it's going to be a mountain. See? That's because you loosen the fibers and then you turn it over. And that's when you do this. I'm just going to flatten it. Okay, valley. Flip it around. It's a mountain. Flatten. That was Poppy Parade. This is Magenta Madness. Magenta Madness. Oh, and you can use Mango Melody. You can use, yeah. Here, let me tell you what other colors. I keep mixing up. This is Mango Melody. I keep mixing up. There's a Melon Mambo that looks like this. Okay, that's what I keep mixing up. There's all these M's, M's, M's. This is Magenta Madness, but there's a color called, oop, this one has a little curve on the end. We'll use this to punch some holes in later. This is what I keep mixing up. Mango is more of a yellow color. You have a piece of this in your kit, so you can go ahead and use the Mango Melody because it's one of the coordinating colors with this paper. And so is Mint Macron, if you want to use Mint Macron. I'm just using what I have here that's handy, and I have a lot of Bermuda Bay and a lot of the Brights collection. I have a few packs of the Brights collections. All right, so here we go. So we have our card bases, and I think I'll just keep this here as a way to work. I think I like working on this scoreboard. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can attach this part. Well, we don't know yet. We don't know which one. We won't do the attaching yet because we have to see what goes with what. We have to do the stamping, okay? So, and we'll get back to this. So we're going to do the stamping and we'll get back to this. Now the stamping, I was going to ink up 2 different colors and show you the Poppy Parade tone on tone. And then I realized like I don't have time in one video to like dry the stamp and come back because after you wash the stamp, my stamps take like an hour to dry. So I decided to just use the color that I recommended that you all have anyway, which is Misty Moonlight. But I do want to show you, and I use Misty Moonlight for all these cards. Okay, now what I wanted to show you though, and we're going to do tone on tone stamping, is earlier though I did use this is Poppy Parade background, and I used the Poppy Parade ink. Okay, so this is tone on tone stamping with Poppy Parade. I'm just not doing the Poppy Parade right now because I don't have time to wash the Poppy Parade off and still use the Misty Moonlight, which is the point of this, right? So that's what it looks like, tone on tone stamping. So tone on tone stamping, the technique is just that you're using the same color ink as your cardstock. So that's the idea behind it. And it's just really a neat concept. And so I put little marks here. The marks are I put little marks with a pencil, just to know where to sort of line up my cardstock. Now, I also like to do a couple things. And these are I like to teach you lots of tips and tricks. So one of the things I like to do is I like to take a little bit of adhesive and put it on the mat here, on the Stamparatus pad, and stick this down. And the reason I like to do that is because if I don't ink up the right way, if I don't ink this up enough, and I have to go back down again, right, back down again, I don't want to miss the exact same spot. Okay, so we're using the Stamparatus, a stamp positioning tool. We're going to open it up, and we're going to, so you can see the whole thing. I don't want you to miss any process. We're going to open up the ink, Misty Moonlight. We're going to open it up, flip it back around, and we're going to just ink up the stamp. If we miss anything, right, it doesn't matter because I used that little bit of adhesive on the back. Now, the reason I didn't use tape on the corners to hold this down is because what if like the stamp is going to be on the corners, right? So I didn't want to put the tape on the corners of this. All right, I got to say hi to you guys too. It's been so long since this video started. Let me just say hi to everybody in a minute. Here, let's push down on that. Push it good. See, I like to sing songs when I'm crafting. All right, I think that came out good. I don't think I need any more ink, but you know, for good measure, just to show you what I'm talking about, right? It doesn't matter if I do more ink. It'll just make it look even starker. So this is Misty Moonlight on top of Misty Moonlight cardstock. That is called tone on tone stamping. Okay, so we're gonna, oh yeah, it did come out better. And then there's that little bit of adhesive that I got off the back. So I'm going to take that adhesive off. It does rip the paper a little because I wasn't using like painter's tape or anything. I was using actual adhesive, and it's kind of strong. It's already sticky, so I don't need to use more adhesive. So there you go. We're going to put that there, and we're going to just keep on going and just do Got to have a couple more, because if I mess up, I don't want to have to go back to this part again, because I'm going to be doing now decorating the cards and embellishing and whatnot. So I'm just trying to do, and plus, you guys don't mind if I make a few things? Because I always make a few things at once. That's always how I roll. I would never just make one card. Like, if you ever wonder, like, why don't you get a lot done? It's because you're only making one card at a time. There's your sign. That's your answer. If you ever say, how come I don't get a lot of cards made? Then ask yourself the question, do I make only one card at a time? Or do I make a lot of cards at the same time? And if your answer is you make one card at a time and then you admire it, put it on the shelf, and then go, oh, I'm going to add to it. I'm going to do this to it. And you don't get anything done, it's because you are not doing the assembly line process. You need to just make a lot of cards at once. Making sure that adhesive's still there. Get them all done at once at the same time. Because then, you know, your ink, because you're leaving ink on your Stamparatus, right? And then you have to wash it off, so you might as well do a lot of cards at once. Okay, so that's the Misty Moonlight, and we want to now, I'm going to show you. So this one was, yeah, this one, let me see. I know I have another, oh, I can show you the Poppy Parade. We'll just stamp right onto one of the bases. I'm just looking around at what I have an extra of. It looks like I have an extra Bermuda Bay right over there. Here. I'm just have an extra Bermuda Bay piece, but I actually have an extra. We don't need that. I might use that for something else. Oh, I have two of those. Okay. All right, I have two of them. We can use it. So you don't need to change your ink. This is tone-on-tone stamping, but you can still use your same ink. And I want to show you what this looks like with Bermuda Bay now. So those were Misty Moonlight on Misty Moonlight. Keep it going, because we know, now, how do you say, well, why Bermuda Bay? How do I know that color is going to look good? Because Stampin' Up! Has done all the work for us. Color theory, coordination. Because this paper, it says on the back of the Butterfly Bijou Designer Series paper, and again, sorry for shaking my camera all over the place. It says on the back of the pack that there's Bermuda Bay and Misty Moonlight in this pack. So if those two colors are in the same pack of paper, then they coordinate together. I don't have to worry about them coordinating. Someone already decided to put them in the same pack of paper. So it works. And see, that looks better than using black. When you use black, it's kind of more stark, and this is more subtle. So I like using the same color but on different pieces of cardstock. And then here's how I did it. I think, okay, I did this earlier. Let's see. Oh no, this was on Coastal Cabana. This was a piece of Coastal Cabana and Misty Moonlight. This was on the Poppy Parade. This was on a piece of Melon Mambo. And this was Misty Moonlight on a piece of Poppy Parade. Straight onto the card. Okay, so you could see how the Misty Moonlight looks good on other coordinating colors as well. Let's just finish this one and then we're done. And then I could take this off. I'm done all the stamping part except for the part of stamping where we're going to stamp the sentiment. But I mean, I'm done the part. This is called background stamping. Now, some people wanted to buy 2 sets of these stamps, and they cut them apart. But I want to show you, and I didn't get a chance to, but I wanted to show you can just mask it off with some tape or transfer tape or masking tape, and you can mask off the part you don't want. And then you don't really need to get a whole other. I'm going to put this on the floor now. You don't need to get a whole other set. You can just use tape and mask off the part you don't want, and then you have the stamps you do want. All right, here are our cards. And now we need to do the rip part. So here are our card pieces that we just stamped. And so now what we want to do is we want to take the pieces that were already 4 inches, and again, just kind of lay them next to, and we want to make some layers. Okay, and of course you want some of this butterfly sticking out. You can do the rip layers on the bottom or the top, but we're going to be covering up some of these. So what you want to do is you want the white part to show. So when you start ripping, see if you get it right. Just going to take it and you're going to rip. You're going to start to rip, right? But you want the white part to show. Okay, good. I'm going to rip up. See that? I'm going to rip up so that the white part shows. And if it doesn't, then you just got to start ripping again and try it again. I like ripping it toward me. You can rip toward or away from you. But see, toward me works, and that came out nice. I got a nice rip there. This works great for snow, making snow. You just could, my friend Sally first taught me the rip paper technique when she was doing like some polar bears just rolling down a hill, or it could have been penguins. But anyway, they looked really cute. And you can just get white paper and rip it. And you can use the rip paper technique and just sort of get white paper. Okay, now this adds a lot of texture to your card. So something like this. Let's look at the one I did earlier. That was the layer beneath it. We'll do one of these layers for the top. Or we'll do one of these. Because I already did one of those. We'll put that down there. We'll just do something up here. Okay, I like that butterfly there, so we don't want to cut it all off. Again, you want the white. See how I got the white? When you rip, you get the white part. And you could do it straight or not straight. I mean, the whole idea is adding texture to your cards. That's the whole idea. Texture, layers. Okay, good. And I'm going to do something like that. Okay, so test it out before you adhere it. And we got to use the Wink of Stella. And I still need to say hello. Okay, so let me go back and see who. Oh, wow. Lots of you came and joined me today. This is awesome. I'm going to use Wink of Stella. This is a glitter brush. Hello, Janet. Greetings, Penelope. Hello, Penelope and Bpre. Yep, I'm in Georgia. That's where it's been raining like crazy. You got that right. Susan from Florida. Probably rained a lot there too. Donna. Hello, Donna and Robbie from Texas, and Jackie and Melody. Pamela. See what I'm doing? I'm getting lots of Wink of Stella on here. See, well, you can't see it yet. Maybe it has to dry a little bit, but it's definitely adding some bling and some extra dimension. That's funny. So Pamela says, I'm watching this and the Olympics at the same time. She goes, would that be the Paper Chef Olympics? I watched the highlights of the Olympics because I don't want to watch all the commercials, but did you guys see the girls synchronized swimmers? They were incredible. They did this little robotic and acrobatic routine, and then it came up in like the highlight reel. Oh my God, I was mesmerized. In fact, I was actually trying to go live on this video, and of course I was using my phone, and it came up in the highlight reel. I totally paused my entire process of trying to go live to watch the entire routine of the women's synchronized. And I'm talking about USA, by the way. I mean, I'm sure the other teams are good too, but that didn't come up in the highlight reel. Now I want to watch them all. I like synchronized swimming, gymnastics. So what's your favorite Olympic sport, you guys? Hi, Eileen. Hi, Joan. And Pamela asked, yes, and I'm still in Georgia, Pamela. That's where I was talking about all the rain. And hello, Katie, Caroline. All right, so that's it. So that's all we need is 2 layers because I don't want to. Hello, Kathy, Yvonne, Patricia. Oh, good, you're kind of near me, Patricia. What I want to do is just do 2 layers because I don't want to block this really beautiful background. See? So what I would do first is I would adhere this to the top, leaving a little bit of room for me to slip the other one underneath. The reason I start with the top one first, I'm going to use my Seal Plus adhesive. You're going to start with the top one because you're going to kind of layer them. So that's the Seal Plus adhesive. And you want to push this against the top. That's why I'm starting with the top layer. So kind of like that. And I hope you guys give this a try and then share your creations on my public Facebook page or in my group. See, now I have a little bit of room. See that little bit of bling? And see, there's a little bit of room there. Now to slip this one under. See? You can slip that under now. And you can do as many layers as you want, but I didn't want to block too many of the butterflies. Okay, now I'm going to put the adhesive right on this one and then slip it under there. Okay, so I'm going to slip it under. Now, how high up you go, it means you want to hide this, you want to hide the straight part, right? But you also don't want to block the butterflies too much. So you just kind of figure out where to put it. So here, it's a little bit crooked, so I have to kind of make it straight. There we go. Perfect. Now, that's why I didn't put this other layer on yet because I have to decide how I'm going to make my card. And every card is different, but let's look at the one Okay, we're going to try to do something like this. So we're going to go with, this is the Magenta Madness. And then we're going to go for, let's put this on top of there, and on top of there, and see if that contrasts. No, I think this contrasts better. Right, this contrasts better. And then it's a matter of which part contrasts better up there. So I think having the darker part of that paper at the top is better, and having that on top of there is better. See, so I'm just trying to see what contrasts better. This one does look good too, but I think that one. So now I'm just using, again, just seal plus. But now that I have all my pieces, I mean, this is a breeze. I can sit and make these like all night. Like I can make so many of them, and they don't all have to say thank you. I have some other really cool sayings, and I was going to grab one out to show you. A cool saying I just grabbed right before this video. While watching the synchronized swimmers, I was gathering supplies. Okay. So I attached that to this layer first, you know, and then I'm going to attach this layer to here, to this card. And then I'm going to put a piece of Whisper White in there, or Basic White, and that piece is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, same as my other layers. I'm just using, I do not skimp on this stuff. Stampin' Seal Plus, it is so strong, but I still use, like, see, I use a lot of it. I don't know, I don't want my cards to fall apart. Not too shabby, right? I don't want my cards to fall apart. Okay, so now, what I want to show you now is sort of in real time how I can make another one just like it, and how I'll do the rip paper technique real quickly. So we will mount this to this one, and then we'll probably put it on we'll put that one on a Bermuda Bay. That's what we'll do. So we already have, we'll do this layer again. I'm getting the white part to show toward me, see that? White part, white part. Okay, and then we need, for the top part, you always need, you need to definitely get your trimmer for the top part of this, because you can't put it on the top of the card unless it has a straight edge, right? Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to go like that. Okay, it was a little bit crooked, so we just evened it out like that. But we want the little white to show. So there's some white showing, and you can always peel. These layers, these are 2-ply. So our paper is kind of like 2-ply paper because it's double-sided, our paper. So it has like an extra little layer you can peel the white between. Okay, so I will add this adhesive real quick and then add the Wink of Stella. I'm just kind of showing you how it's very quick when you get used to it. Wink of Stella. You can add more Wink of Stella later, but you got to puff it up to do that. It's just easier to add while you have these kind of unattached here. Okay, so there's some Wink of Stella. There it is. I put it right on top of there. And okay. This seal is so strong that you cannot move it. Like once it's on there, you cannot move this seal. The Seal Plus. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the adhesive behind here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my Wink of Stella. Oops, I just add a big blob of glitter right on the middle of my card. Shove that under there. And you could just do this all day. Ripping paper is so fun. So therapeutic. Now, I don't have the cards I made way back when I attended that workshop. But what Sandra did, my friend Sandra, who made her cards, I think this one is up so high that I could actually use a third layer. I'll go ahead and add a third layer. So my friend Sandra, she put like a piece about this, she put like a half a piece across the paper. She only ripped it once, and then she put a ribbon. So I'm doing a couple layers of ripped paper. She put a ribbon across the top, and she put her sentiment on the top. And I didn't put a ribbon. Well, I did have a ribbon on my first one, but not this one. Ribbons are hard for me to get in the mail. I have trouble like mailing things with ribbons, they always say, oh, you need extra postage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, extra postage doesn't weigh more than an ounce. And they start charging me. Here we go. I'm going to do this little one. That's going to be cool. You're not going to be able to see the butterflies, but you're going to be able to see, like, the cool, like, you're going to be able to see the little colors sticking out, even though the butterflies are going to be sort of hidden. I'm just doing a third layer. You just do what you want. No rules in crafting. And ribbons are fine too. If you're handing someone a card, ribbons are great on cards. I just try, if I'm going to use ribbons, like I did in the first video of this series, I use like the pool party sheer ribbon and some linen thread and stuff like that. The linen thread, because those were like not very puffy. All right, yeah, that's cool. See, so I just wanted, oh, you can see the butterfly. Bonus. I thought I was going to have to hide the butterflies, but you can actually see the butterflies, so that's even better. Shove that under there, get the adhesive out. Okay, so I don't know. I think I like it better with 3 layers. 2 layers, 3 layers. Okay. Now we're going to stick that on this background. Oh, we need this though. We need the card. We need this little layer. Now, if you want to be chintzy or cheap or whatever we want to call it, I'm going to see where to put that. Yeah, I like that with the pink up in the top corner. If you want to be like thrifty, let's say not cheap and chintzy, let's say thrifty crafters, take your die cuts, right? Whatever die cut, some, picture this dies or some kind of die cut, right? That's real big, like, or color and contour frames. Just die cut out the middle. Make a big, like, use this paper that you've made this layer for, cut out the middle, make yourself a shape of something. Because you don't need, no one sees that, right? But you still don't want to cut out your frame because you need the frame. But I'm just saying, if you want to be thrifty, cut out the middle. I know I'm going to cry when I'm out of this paper, which is going to be very shortly. I'm out of this paper very soon. I've used a lot of this Butterfly Bijou Designer Series paper. And it retired, and it was like in a special collection. So I gave it to everybody who got a kit. And then one of my team members, Diane, asked if she could get a half a pack. So I've been saving her like half a pack, and I'm down to just kind of using scraps. And then it's going to be gone, and I have to, oops, there goes that. I mounted it on the paper upside down. I wanted the pink to be over there, but that's okay. Not the pink, the Magenta Madness. I was trying to get the Magenta Madness to be at the top right corner, but because of where your eye is, but then I like mounted it upside down, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter though. Oh, it came out nice. All right, so now what's left is we have all these pieces. We just got to make, we have all these pieces. They go together well. Poppy Parade, magenta, like all these colors go together. I have all these extra pieces. I can make more cards later. But now what I want to do is just show you the sentiment part. And for this, I was using this stamp set here called Flowers of Friendship. And I just recommended just to get, and I already have it inked up. Okay, Flowers of Friendship Bundle. So we'll do a little bit with that, and then I have this other one. I'm not sure what it's going to fit on, so we're just going to try this, and then we're going to punch it out with this. This is called the double oval punch. So what we need, before I try something else, before I try another sentiment, is you need a little piece of basic white, and you have it in your kit. It's called basic white or whisper white, if you have it the older style. So, and you get your little silicone mat for stamping. And this has already been inked up, so hopefully it doesn't smudge too bad because it's been sitting for a while. And I'm just going to put a sentiment in white. Oops, there it's smudging. That's okay. I don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, thank you for everything. I can't tell how good that is. So I'm going to be able to tell in a minute when I look closer, so let's just stamp another one. Okay, ooh, that was definitely better. We're going to go with that one. So what you want to do is you want to take, I'm just going to get the small part. I'm going to do the thank you for everything with the small oval. And yes, I know I'm wasting a lot of extra paper right now. It's better to make little strips, but it's okay because I can use that for something else. It's better to, like, if you're cutting, one of my tips and tricks, there's so many tips and tricks, but say you have Let's pretend I have a paper trimmer, but it's on the floor. You make like strips, whatever size the strip this is, right? That's what I was trying to say here, like something like this. This is a little tip and trick for you. Make little strips. Here, I'm rushing. I got to stop and slow down my stamping. See what I mean? Make little strips, and then when you punch out, you're not wasting all that extra paper, right? You're just punching out on the strip. You're not getting into this section here and wasting all that paper. Or you could just punch out a bunch of white ones because you might need some white ones for the background. So let's go ahead and use this for the outside. I already have a scrap of this. This is the Magenta Madness. We're going to use that with the double oval, and then we can layer it up with dimensionals and plunk it on and put some bling on it, and then I'll show you my other sentiment I had in mind. But I don't know if the other sentiment's going to fit it. Just something I had in mind that I just grabbed, and I said, ooh, I wonder if this will fit on this card. But first we get these, I'm going to get these mini dimensionals. These are mini dimensionals. Put a few on there. You can never have too many dimensionals. And then you just put some seal. Okay, we're going to put that on the card that has, so you could use this on this card. However, for this card, I think it needs a background to match this card. So what I'm saying is, the reason I want this magenta, right, madness, see, it matches, it's bringing out the color of this. And you can put it where you want it, and you could use a ribbon if you wanted across the bottom or like some kind of band, but I'm going to put it down there because that's where I want to put it. Okay, and you could put like something behind it too, like a band. And then I like to take some bling, any kind of bling. You can see I used opal rounds here. I used metallic pearls on this one, and this one didn't have that extra layer. So we'll see which kind of bling I can find right now to put on there. So because I might not want to use my ink color. Here, I'm grabbing this bling here. We're going to use, instead of the gold metallic pearls, we will use the silver metallic pearls because these are in your kit. In your little kit, you got some in your bucket of crafty goodness, because I gave everybody a bucket of crafty goodness, a little metal thing. It's a round metal tin, and in your little tin, the tin looks like this. You had some little metallic pearls in there. And I probably should have used my take your pick tool to get this off my hand. Come on, get up. And that's not even. I don't want it to be even, I'm sorry. You want them not to be even. So that's how you do it. And then you could just add, like I said, or you could add any kind of bling, any kind of pearls, any kind of. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is look for this. So it's a celebration step set. And I won't look too long. I won't make you guys wait too long. If I can't find it, we're just going to go with, here he goes. So it's called In Your Words. So I thought that would be fun. And I don't know what I'm going to punch it out with yet. We haven't decided yet. Maybe I'm just going to use another, like from my bucket of crafty goodness. I thought this would be a good sentiment to put on this kind of card that says, hope this card makes you smile. Because, I mean, wouldn't that be good on any card? So what we need to do is figure out what could I put this on that will fit. Right? So we look in your bucket of crafty goodness. You should always be making these buckets of crafty goodness with your die cuts, your shapes. Always, always, always. Okay, that's too small. Just get a bunch of extra shapes. This is another way you're going to make your card. That's a weird shape to put in that direction. It's another way you're going to make cards quickly is what I'm trying to say. Oh, this looks like, I bet this one will fit. I bet this is going to work. Here we go. Hope this card makes you smile. There we go. But we have to get a few of them. This is from the Hippo and Friends dies. We need a few of those. Just die cut out shapes. If you have a scan and cut out shapes. I even taught you how to make stitch shapes in one of the videos in one of my courses. But you don't even need stitch shapes. Just cut out shapes. You just need shapes when you're going to be die cutting. I mean, shapes for your sentiments, I mean. Okay, and so I haven't inked this one up in a while. I only made one card with it. I had to make a card really quick the other day, and I was like, I found this, and I was like, so what I'm trying to do is just ink on my scrap here to make sure the ink's coming out good. And it is. So now we can ink it straight on here. This one's nice. That one's nicer, so we'll do this one first. Hope this card makes you smile. Always hold your stamp down for a few seconds. Oh, I'm going to be using this one a lot. So this is one of those free stamp sets. So Celebration starts August 3rd, and it's one of the free stamp sets that only hosts can get, but a host is any order that's a $300 order. And so when my customers that don't have $300 orders use a host code, I'm going to be offering this as a prize during my drawings for my host code drawings, they're called. Now that one's centered better, so that's the one I'm going to use. And I think I'll put it right there. Hope this card makes you smile. And I do like it better than, well, not better than the thank you. Sometimes you need a thank you card. It's not that it's better than. And there's even a little die that's a layer for that one. But I think if I put a layer behind it, I'm going to be getting into the whole, like, blocking my beautiful butterflies at some point, right? You don't want to block your butterflies. In fact, this one, let's see how it looks up top. Nope, I'm definitely putting it on the bottom. But you don't want to block out all your butterflies. If you start putting so many layers on your sentiments, then you block out your butterflies. I hope this card makes you smile. And then some bling. This one I'll put some gold. I'll put some gold metallic pearls. Just have lots of bling to add to your projects. I mean, it doesn't even hurt if you add 3 more. I'm going to add a few up there. I'm going to add some of these ones up there. 1, 2, 3. Oops, nope, in that section. Stick one in that section. Lots of bling on this card. Just 3 up there and 3 down below. I try to usually do odd numbers, but yeah, no, it needs 3 of each. That's fine. If I put any more, it's going to unbalance it. So now, what I would like to do is, now that I've shown you this technique, is just kind of go over like this another card and another idea for you that you can mill over. And then I also just want to explain that you don't need to go through all these layers that I just did. See, you can just stamp right onto your card. There's nothing wrong with stamping right onto your card. And if you're new to card making, one thing you might have heard is you got to have lots of layers. Well, this is layers. This is a layer, that's a layer. In fact, my niece and nephew, I taught them about layering, and they're only, 7 years old, right? Like 6 and 7 years old. They understood. They actually were pointing out what a layer was. And they were like, this is a layer, that's a layer. See, this already has a layer. These things are layers. These things are layers. So don't worry about stamping straight onto your card. It's no problem. Right? It's cool. You could even just send this to somebody. Of course, put a layer in the inside. That would be fun with a little sentiment on it. Boom, done. Right? Don't worry. Don't overthink it. Put a ribbon across the middle. Piece of paper. Here. Piece of paper across the middle. Well, not that big. But you know what I mean. Well, maybe that big. Because it would have to be big enough to, but not that color. Here. Boom. But not that, maybe not that wide. You know what I'm saying? Just throw a layer on there and be done with it. Don't overthink it. All right, so now I got to make sure my ink is out of the way so when I show you this next part, we don't get all messed up. What I want to do is, I talked about on my channel, I do a lot of different things on my channel, and one of the things I do is go over kits a lot. And one of the things I did recently was I talked about this kit here. It's called the Notes of Cheer card kit. It's only a $12 kit. It's a really great kit that we offer at Stampin' Up. You can get it right out of our catalog. And it's enough supplies to make 9 cards. There's no stamping involved at all. Well, I do things on kits, and so does my friend Sandra. She was doing a video on her Facebook Live about the kits. And when she said, and it kind of resonated with me, she's like, let's recreate this card with our supplies. Like, don't we love how they made this card? So I already made my cards and sent them out, but maybe I have one card in here to show you. But like, this is one of the cards. Right? I haven't sent this one out yet, but that's one of the cards. No stamping needed. But for this card, all you have to do for this card is literally just stick it on. There's a piece of rainbow. There's a piece of card here. And you stick this on, and you're done. And you just put the sentiment on it. See? And some bling. And you pop this up with dimensionals. So why can't we just recreate the same thing with the Brilliant Wings dies, right? We're going to recreate the same thing. Sort of. So I took it a step further, and that's what I want to show you now. is just how I took it a step, how I was inspired by Sandra being inspired. My friend Sandra got inspired, and then I got inspired by her, and she die cut out 3 shapes, and she used this white or vanilla color, and then she replaced them with the same color of cardstock. Okay? I took it one step further. I replaced it with a different color. I cut out the holes and replaced it with a different color, which is the gold cardstock. Okay, you have that in your kit. I gave you a strip of gold cardstock in your kit. So what I wanted to do is just show you how I did that. I'm not taking out the machine because of all this, I have ink on my table. I have all this stuff on my table. And this is just more of like a techniques course. So you already know how to die cut. We talked about that at the beginning of this program and everything. So here's the concept. You're going to take a piece of cardstock. Okay, and you're going to take, I need to find my crafty goodness here for a second. Let's find I don't want you to miss out like on any steps. I don't want this to be a mystery to you. I want you to go, oh, I get how she did it. It's like, it's easy. Here we go. So I'm just grabbing my dies. Just any dies, it doesn't matter. Here, just grab 3. So you're going to die cut the way we taught you how to die cut at the beginning of this. So you're going to take a piece, and the first step is just put 3 die cuts on there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, any 3 butterflies. Get it? Okay. You die cut them with the machine. Okay, you are going to end up with a piece of paper that looks like this. And I did it with, like here's a piece of, this is actually Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper because I was looking for something with cherry cobbler. Okay, you're going to end up with a shape like that. Okay, you're going to not only end up with a shape like that, you're going to end up with a bunch of butterflies cut out of the same color paper. Because at the same time you cut the holes, you end up with a bunch of butterflies. And my butterflies, I have a whole bunch more butterflies. I'm sure they're in my other thing. So next you're going to take this one step further. Let me put these away before I lose them. Okay, I have to put all this away. Okay, so that was step 1. Now we have a bunch of these butterflies. So you can just take the same paper and you can replace the butterflies, and you'd have a beautiful project right there. Just replace these with your butterflies. However, I took it another step further. Oops, see that? It's going to be lost. Put that in there. And I embossed this frame. So here's my frame, and I embossed the frame. So you're going to take your frame, and I didn't emboss the butterflies themselves. You're just going to emboss it. So you take one of your plates out, and this is a 3D embossing folder. This is called the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder, and this is called Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder. And that's how I emboss these. So that's what you're going to do next. You're going to emboss the frame. Okay? And then you're going to take a piece of paper behind it. This one I'm going to use. The one I'm working on now is this Evening Evergreen piece of Tidings, because this Tidings paper, Tidings of Christmas, goes really well with the cherry cobbler. It's Evening Evergreen, so that's what I'm working on next. But for this case, this is Bermuda Bay. So what I would do for this is I would take a piece of the Butterfly Bijou paper that you have, that I gave you in your kit, or just that you have because you have it. Or you have whatever paper you have that's going to go good with Bermuda Bay. So let me just find a piece that'll look good behind it, just for this lesson, okay? Stick something behind it, right? Now this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So now you're going to do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You're making 1/8 of an inch around each side. You're making 1/8 of an inch bigger. Finally, you're going to replace the butterflies. Well, actually, I cut these out of gold cardstock, but you get the idea. You're going to replace them and put them right in there. If you want to glue them in, fine. If you don't want to glue them in, then don't glue them in and use dimensionals. So I'm going to show you my little trick for that. And then you already know how to do the sentiment, because I taught you how to do the sentiment. So here, so you can replace them and they'll be beautiful just like that. But if you want, then you can pop them up with dimensionals. So what I like to do for the bigger butterflies, these wider ones, I just use these adhesive strips, right? Foam adhesive strips. I took out little pieces, and it was fine behind this butterfly. Boom. Okay? Stick it behind there. Now, but that was a little too thick for those, so I tried to trim them down, and that didn't really work. So what I did instead, and this might be better for all your butterflies, is, and I don't know where, you guys probably see my scissors better than I do, because like you guys are looking like straight down from above, and I don't know where anything goes anymore. Here it is. Here's my scissors. So what you do is, okay, so the other option is this. See, cut little strips off the edge of your dimensionals, and then they'll fit behind the butterflies. And that's how you can get them to pop up. Because even a mini dimensional, it might fit behind a bigger one, a mini dimensional, or behind this one. But when you get to do that one, it's like the mini dimensional doesn't fit. It's too big. Okay, and then finally, there's your card. You layer it up, do your little sentiment, and there's your card. I only adhered them in the middle. That's it. I only adhered them to the middle. But now look at that 3D card. Look at that texture behind it. All that. You can add bling if you want, but that's how to make that card. Okay, and that's how to make, oh, I had 2 of them. We did have 2 cards to show you, but I thought the other one was just right, here it is, here it is. Here's the other card. Okay, so that was inspired by this kit, inspired by this concept here, you know, from this Notes of Cheer card kit. That's inspired by that, and you're just making the same thing, but with gold cardstock. All right. That was fun, and I did it under an hour, which is always my goal is always for these. This was for part 8 of the Butterfly Bootcamp series. So she just got a scan and cut. Congratulations, Darla. That is awesome. Oh, wow. You guys got all kinds of conversations going. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but I see some more have come in. So, yep. Penny is there. Penny, you have different names on every part of your social media. So, okay, cool. Hilda, I said hello. Already, and Kathy F. And yes, Pamela's saying she likes this cute idea, has never done it. So go ahead and give this a try. So that's just another technique to learn. So in the next series, I would like to, or in the next part of the series, I'd like to do a little bit more 3D. And then I want to wrap it up, and we will do a drawing for anybody that's got a kit, you know, from me. Okay, so as I say goodbye to you, some of the things we've made in the series so far. We've embossed vellum, we've done blending backgrounds, we've learned how to make stickers, we learned how to use the Stamparatus and emboss backgrounds, and of course the embroidery hoops, boxes, tag treats, and so much more. So check out the rest of the series if you missed it. And I also add butterflies to like everything I do. I did a whole video on the Notes of Cheer card kit. I just did a video on the paper pumpkin, and there's butterflies in so many of my other videos as well. So just cut yourself a bunch of butterflies and you can't go wrong, because you can use them for all kinds of projects, and they're going to just make your life, crafting life, I should say. They'll make your life easier, but especially your crafting life. That's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.